has been nearly 19 months of freedom for Thomas Clardy after being released from prison for a 2005 murder. Now his freedom is in limbo because an appeals court reinstated his murder conviction. News 2's Mai Owens is here with the latest on a case that Clardy has been battling now for 20 years. Mai.
That's exactly right, Haley. For Clardy and his lawyers, they have maintained his innocence for years now. Clardy was found guilty of a triple murder, but his attorney says no evidence was tied to him to the crime. No motive was ever presented, and at the time of the shooting, he was home with his pregnant wife.
For some, the word faith often takes on a different meaning during challenging times.
Thomas is a real believer in his faith. He not only believes that faith, but he tries to act that out every day through acts of faith.
Most times when we talk about vigils, it's to honor and pray for someone whose life has been taken. But in this case,
it made sense to call it a prayer vigil because this is a group of people who are deeply impacted by Thomas. They've been deeply impacted by his story, and they really have concerns that he may have to return to prison.
It's a prayer for a man who fought to get his life back with hopes of staying free.
Thomas is in a limbo state, and he was incarcerated for 17 years for a crime he did not commit.
Originally, Clardy was convicted for a murder at an auto body shop in Madison. At the time, the primary evidence came from an eyewitness. But Clardy's counsel did not call for an expert on eyewitness identification due to financial constraints. 17 years later, a judge overturned his conviction because of ineffective counsel, and Clardy was released from prison in 2023.
But it's Thomas's adamant insistence. He never committed this crime. And then as I began to work on his cases, we continued to litigate over the last 11 years. It became clear the evidence pointed away from him.
But now the battle for freedom is back because an appeals court reinstated his conviction.
We were able to get relief in federal court. And now, after 19 months of freedom, that was reversed. And so now the state is asking him to return behind bars where he would have to serve the remainder of a life sentence.
The case making its way to the U.S. Supreme Court, where they declined to hear Clardy's appeal to keep him free.
And Clardy himself is set to speak at tonight's event, the prayer vigil, starting at 7 o'clock. It's happening at the Corinthian Baptist Church in North Nashville. Now, he's filed 2 clemency petitions that could be granted by the governor. Now, one would declare him innocent. Another would just commute his sentence so he does not have to go back to prison.